Hello everybody, welcome to the Ranting Shop, you guys. Today I want to discuss Kyra and Verneashia's live because the recent topic or the recent episode of Ready to Love has garnered a lot of emotions from different people about Kyra, Jason and Liz predominantly, and so I just felt like this was, I suppose, a little bit of clearance for Kyra's behavior on that show. Okay, so Kyra normally does her lives with Verneashia, but I wish she'd do it by herself because we'd get more from her if she did it on her own. Because Verneashia has a very strong personality and she's very loud, so sometimes it appears as if she takes over sometimes and we don't get the full explanation of what Kyra is saying, but I digress. So the first thing she said was she was not playing a game. She was very serious about her decision, and that is precisely why she was or came across so indecisively. It was because she, and I think everybody had come to that conclusion, she did not get fully what she wanted from either man, and so because of that, it was difficult for her to make her decision. And so I asked her, so then why stay in the show? Why continue to be in this process if really and truly nobody was there for you or nobody was up to par with your standards? And she said that this has a lot to do with production and stuff like that. So, and that was confirmed by Simone when Simone does reviews as well with Rashid. She does the Ages and Stages podcast, and she said that in her experience it was not something where people could just pick up and decide to self-eliminate. I believe that production is strongly against people just deciding to leave whenever they please. And that makes sense considering at the end of the day, these people are trying to make a show. If people are just leaving as they please, the show would be done quicker than we would ever imagine. And perhaps there would be less drama televised, So there's that. So it's not like she could have just picked up and left. So she had to just write it out. It was just a couple of episodes left. In fact, tomorrow will be the last episode, so it's not like she had all this time left. There's no more time, okay, so it wouldn't technically make sense for her to leave. But by watching the show, when I noticed that she wasn't really that satisfied with either, although she did want Jason more, and she confirmed that on this live, and Dietrich confirmed it as well. Dietrich was like, from the very beginning, Kyra has always said that she was gonna pick Jason, and yes, she did. However, the issue was that it wasn't communicated to Jason in regards to her actions. Yes, she verbally said it, but her actions, I suppose, spoke otherwise to him. Jason and Kyra, she said they had a little bit of a disconnect. So I'm assuming the disconnect is some possible lies that were told that I suppose she was trying to get to the bottom of, and but she never really clarified per se on what the disconnect was with her and Jason. She said that she's not and was never mad at Liz, and I never thought that she was mad at Liz anyways. I never saw from what I watched on the season, on the show, that she was mad at Liz. For me, it was very clear that her anger was directed solely towards Jason. And I consider Kyra to be a very rational human being. And I know we all have emotions, so we all are liable to become irrational at some point. But I know that her anger or her frustration was never towards this. And she confirmed that. All her smoke and her problems were with Jason. And we all know that Jason lied about making the decision to choose this 2 weeks prior. And she said that it was literally impossible, so to speak, because it was only 3 days in total from the time he had that conversation with Kyra and the time they had their final deliberation. It was literally only 3 days. So I wouldn't say it's impossible that he made his choice 2 weeks ago, but it's highly unlikely considering Kyra said they went out for Valentine's Day weekend. They hung out with each other 2 weeks from that time. So if he had made up his mind from that point, how come he never alluded that to Kyra? How come he never verbalized it to her to at least give her the decency of not being blindsided, at the end? And I feel like we don't give the production enough credit. It's very easy for them to just call somebody and say, hey, what's going on? Don't tell her this. Don't say that. Don't do this. Just so that everything could play out on the show. I don't put it past them one bit, because at the end of the day, they want a great show and they will do what they have to do to get one. So she was completely blindsided, because she's going out on Valentine's weekend with this guy. Up until a couple of episodes ago, he was unable to make a decision. He was waiting for her to essentially lead him, to a point of surety and to a point of cohesiveness, I suppose, and he didn't get that from her. And like she explained, it was because it was difficult to make a decision, especially when she took the situation so seriously. And I guess a couple weeks is not enough time for you to make such a concrete decision. But then again, I feel like she should not have taken it so seriously, just because the fact that it's such a short time frame for you to be able to make a sound decision. It is almost impossible for you to judge someone simply based on your interactions with them in a very short period of time. So, I mean, I get her indecisiveness. I do get it. But then in a show, it doesn't work. It's like you have to be a little bit fake in some regards, because it's a show. You have to do everything you have to do within that time frame, but it's not natural, you know. But I completely understood where she was coming from. She wasn't willing to just make decisions just for the show's sake, and I have to respect that. She said that she and Jason were cool. You see, before that last confrontation they had, when she was like, oh, let's be friends, they were cool prior to that. She had asked him all the questions she wanted to ask, especially pertaining to the fact that whether Jason thought she was disingenuous or a liar or manipulative or any type of way. Now, to be honest with you, come to think of it, why would she ask him that question? That's a strange question to ask somebody, because it's like, if I know I'm being honest and truthful, right? Why would there be even a need for me to ask someone, hey, did I come across this way to you? Was I that way to you? That's very strange to me. Did anybody else clock that? Why would she ask Jason whether he considered her disingenuous? That's strange to me. Is it that she did something that may have been perceived as disingenuous, or maybe he alluded to feeling some type of disingenuousness from her? It's just very strange to just ask someone, did I come across disingenuous to you? Like, that's strange to me, because the time Liz at the meeting when they convened spoke about Jason saying that he got some disingenuous behavior from Kyra, that was after the fact. That was not prior to that date that they had. It was after the date. So why would she ask him that? That's very strange. And so she felt like, after the fact, Liz is saying, oh, the thing about disingenuous and all these things at the table, and Kyra is laughing. And I thought it was a little rude, a little bit disrespectful, but as I said, we all understood why she laughed. It's like somebody telling you one thing and then you're hearing another thing about them that is completely contrary to what they told you. It's ridiculous, and it's frustrating, and it brings in a lot of negative emotions, and it's something that I don't blame her for having. He's a liar, essentially. If you're telling me one thing, you're telling somebody else something else, you're a liar. And that just proves the point that I keep saying, that he's a chameleon. And people are saying, oh, he must be a good he doesn't have to be good. He just has to be able to convince who he wants to convince. And that's that. He doesn't have to convince you. He doesn't have to convince me. But if he is able to convince the people that he wants to convince, then he's good at it. And he was good at it, because look how Liz felt so impassioned about him that she was willing to, she was even getting a bit offended for him when Kyra said that he was a certain type of way that wasn't necessarily positive, you see. So Jason sent a text telling her do something just a day prior to the deliberation. If somebody tells you to do something, what does that mean? And us watching this show, what does that allude to? It obviously meant that he wanted her to make a decision and to make a choice and to choose him. That's what it seems like to me. Or else, what would that do something mean? It makes no sense. Okay? And then he lied when she confronted him at that table that we saw, that confrontation, that last discussion they had on that table. She was asking him about that text message, and he was lying, deflecting. And you were saying that he meant to send it for his mother. I don't know who sends a message like do something to their parents. That is almost like disrespectful to be sending to a parent. Like, granted, I don't know the relationship he has with his mom, but that's a strange message to send to somebody. It's very inconspicuous. Like, you don't know what exactly, like, it's like if you don't know the situation and you saw this message, you will be like, what does that even mean? And I feel like he was trying to cover his tracks, and that's why he sent that message to her. But he probably meant to either make a decision, either choose me, either do something. I have no idea. She never clarified. And I don't think she ever got the explanation as to why he sent her that text message. So if you listen to her live, I believe that you will get the vibe that she was never quite into AJ. Yes, she said that she admired how he was able to, you know, take a risk for her and treat her. Maybe she was taken aback by that, but it still did not do anything for her because she wasn't focused on AJ, as she said, and AJ wasn't focused on her. As bad as it, as difficult as it is to believe, because she said she only went on the show, I don't know, she probably went on a couple dates with him, but she said that people wants to make it seem like they have this long history. They literally just had been on 2 dates with each other. That's it. And she said that she just admired him and admired how he stepped up, and but he was unable to, their relationship and situation was not able to catch up to her situation with Jason. She was way more ahead with Jason than she was with AJ. And as you could see, there's literally no more time on the show for them to make up that time. So it is what it is. Her intention when they stood at that, they convened at that table, was never to get him back. According to her, it was never to get Jason back. It was never to get Jason to choose her. She did that because I suppose she wanted answers, because a lot of lies were being said and she just wasn't understanding. You know, on top of the text that he sent, she wasn't understanding what was going on, and she went to the table for answers. And she said it became very combative at certain points, to the point where production had to have them stop, you know, and then reconvene. So she said she had to calm down, and since Jason was like, okay, let's stop this back and forth, she decided to tell him, okay, let's just be friends. Because I believe somebody asked her, why did she to say the friends thing, you know. And then when she really thought about it and pondered on it and really assessed everything, she came to the conclusion that they would not be good friends, because just the sequence of events for her just did not add up. It didn't make sense. It wasn't mathing, you know. Probably the deceit, the lies that she doesn't want to see, but the lies and the timeline of everything, it just did not make sense to her. And so she was like, you know what, never mind. She would never be friends with him. Like, they could be cool, like the acquaintances, say hey and so on, but as far as friends are concerned, they would never be friends, you know. And I understand where she's coming from. If you look at it from a standpoint of somebody lying to you and making you look like a fool, like, how could you ever be friends with somebody like that? You know, nobody with a self-esteem would be with anybody, or would consider anybody friends who blatantly kind of lied to them about certain things, wasn't genuine, and all these types of things. So I understand where she's coming from. That friend thing just came out of left field. I was like, that's strange, you know. But why would you want to be friends with a liar, you know? But I don't know why she said it. It may have been her wanting to put the last nail in the coffin, but it came across like she was trying to still one up him. But she decided she didn't want to be friends with him, you know, after thinking about it. I don't want to really speak about the savings thing, because you remember the date when Jason met his friend, and I think that time, that episode, Kyra didn't even go on another date with Jason. She didn't go on another date with AJ. I think it was Jason. Jason was the only one that she showed, or had an interaction with her ex. I don't think AJ did, and that speaks volumes to the fact. If she had, let me know. But if she didn't, it speaks volumes to the mindset that she had. And for people continuously wanting to just believe that Kyra and AJ were ever a thing, I mean, just take that into consideration. If there was such a thing, I'm pretty sure she would be comfortable or feel it necessary to, you know, have her friends see him, but, you know, her ex see him. But I said that the reunion will be lit, and the reason why I say that is because Kyra was like, and then, you know, these people are like wanting to give opinions in the reunion about things that they saw on the TV when they had been voted off way earlier on in the show. And I completely agree with that. Even watching the Bachelorette reunions, people that had been voted off on week 1, week 2 have the most to say, and you're like, first of all, who are you? And second of all, why do you have such an opinion when you were voted off such a long time ago and you don't know what you're talking about? No, you know, so I completely understand. I'm just curious to know who that person was who was so confident to want to tell people who were on the actual show about what they saw on the TV. You know, that's crazy to me, considering at the end of the day, you guys were behind the scenes before, and you know how production might manipulate things or make things a certain way and do things like that. So to me, you'd be wiser to just be quiet as opposed to speak like you know something. But at the end of the day, I suppose we do the same thing, and a lot of the things we say are not untrue. It's just that we don't see the entirety of the things that go on. She said she felt bad for AJ during that episode because I suppose he looked like he was the scraps, you know. He looked like he was just Kyra's fallback guy. And so she said at that point, thinking about, you know, AJ and watching that episode, she actually cried because she felt really bad at how he was portrayed on the show. She called the situation, the whole thing, make believe, you know. And she said she called production at some point when she, you know, realized or saw how she was portrayed. Verneashia confirmed what we all were thinking, and some reviewers made that conclusion that she didn't want either one. She wanted qualities from both men. So, you know, if things went smoothly and that blindside didn't happen, would Kyra pick anyone? I think she would still pick Jason, but their relationship would not get really far, you know. In fact, this is actually a blessing in disguise for Kyra, because she's getting to see a part of Jason that is not the positive, lovable boy that everybody thought he was. And I always say it's better to know about these negative sides of people in the very beginning when you're not that attached to them, because the worst part of these types of manipulative type of people is, the worst thing is when you get into a relationship with them thinking they're all perfect and everything is hunky-dory, and then in the middle of the relationship you start seeing some negative, some big red flags you had never seen before, but then you're stuck because now your emotions are involved. So this is actually a blessing in disguise for Kyra. She said she called Liz after the show to, you know, apologize to her, considering, you know, everybody saw how it looked, including her, and although that wasn't her intention, the people that watch the show don't care about what your intention was. They care about how it came across on TV. And so she personally called Liz to, you know, apologize about that scene. The filming, they said, starts from January and it ends in like April, March. So they filmed this a while ago. So if they ever had hurt feelings, I hope that it has been resolved, you know, considering reunion has been taped and everything like that. She said that finally she did not want, I think I said it before, she did not want to have that last meeting with with Jason. In fact, when they went on the date prior to the Liz and everybody meeting, she and him squashed their beef. At that point, she had already chosen AJ and Jason had already chosen Liz. They had rectified their issues. So at some point she was like, well, then she doesn't understand why she still is required to be on the show, considering she didn't see the point, you know, of the dates and everything like that. So her staying is not really her choice, okay? And that's on that. However, it does make you question her saying that. If she wanted to leave so much, okay, so that's prior. So I was gonna say that, you know, when she was talking to Jason, she was like, I want to wait until the end to make my choice, right? So I was gonna say, if you wanted to wait until the end to make your choice, why did you want to leave? And it's because Jason made a choice, and so then she had no choice, and then she was like, well, you know, and that says everything. Again, if she wanted something with AJ, she would have taken the opportunity to, she would have taken full advantage of him at that point. But after Jason had made the decision to choose Liz, she wanted to go home. She wanted to leave the process, because at that point it became useless for her, because regardless of what people think, she was never going to pick AJ. Like in the final, her mind never had her and AJ making it. It was always her and Jason. So now that her plan got spoiled by Jason's decision, she was like, okay, so why am I here? You know? And so she also didn't want to have that meeting with Jason, according to what she says. What else did she say? She said she and AJ quarrel a lot because they're just passionate people, and they, you know what, these passionate thinkers, they have to put all their energy and everything into the conversation. It appears like you're argumentative, but you're really just passionate. That's me. So I relate to her. So yes, you guys, that is essentially what the live was about. Tell me if I missed out on anything, you guys. I will gladly respond to you in the comment section. And oh my gosh, I'm so happy that I'm finally very close to 100 subscribers. Thank you all. I love you guys. People that come here and accept the way that I present myself and don't criticize me and just simply listen to my message and listen to what I have to say. I'm so grateful for you guys. This is who I do this page for. The whole point of it is for people not to judge based on someone's look. Because up to this day, people are still telling me, oh, you're here on YouTube before bonnet. And I just feel like if that's what you're choosing to focus on, my page is just simply not for you. Because at the end of the day, as much as I am on YouTube, I am also at home, in my room. I am not outside in an airport. So the person who said, oh, that's the same thing Monique was talking about, it's not. I'm not outside in an airport. I'm not in a public space. You chose to come on my channel and criticize my look. This is not about look. That's the whole reason why I don't dress up. It's not about looks. It's about we just having a conversation among girlfriends about a show. Okay, and I would hope you guys, just embrace that. If not, there are plenty of other channels. So thank you guys so much. I will be back with the review of next episode of Ready to Love. You guys, it's almost coming to an end. Is anybody excited for the reunion? I know I am, because there's gonna be some drama. Let me say some things that I think will happen just based on everybody's live. Based on Ron's interview, it appears like he's gonna get into some issues with production. It might be a fight. Based on Alexis's live, there's gonna be a situation where she says she reverts back to that same, as she came on when AJ, told her she was not ready. She said all these empowering things. She said that she faltered and she reverted back to that mindset, where that pick me mindset, or whether it be that why didn't you choose me mindset. So we have that from Alexis, a reversion. That's why I said in the comment section, although she verbally said that she was gonna wait on the man that God has provided for her, and she's gonna be when she gave that speech, I said yes, she gave that speech and it was a lovely speech. However, when people were like, oh, she finally knows her worth, that does not mean that she finally knows her worth. It is literally just an acknowledgement of a knowing of what she has to do moving forward. It is not that she has known her self-worth. How we will know if she has truly embraced what she verbalized is through her actions. And based on the reunion, it looked like she reverted. Okay, so that's why I say wait on people's actions and don't just take them based on what they say. Saying things sound good, doing things are harder. And the last one is Kyra saying somebody wanting to give their input into things when they had been sent home a long time ago. So this reunion is going to be lit, you guys. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for a next video from your girl Melissa on the Ranting Shop, you guys. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.